It's 7:35 West African time, and this is Daybreak. Thank you for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu says it's time to put politics aside and reopen the debate on creating state police. Meeting with governors from Nigeria's northeast region, long scared by insurgency. He argued that insecurity has forced communities to depend on vigilante groups and militias. State House correspondent Adesuwa Omorwan reports.
Nigeria's long-running debate over state police is back in focus. President Bola Tinubu is again weighing the idea.
We should continue to collaborate. I've been looking at the security situation more carefully. I've seen civilian JTF, or what you call it, to react to the security challenges. Find so many creative ways you people have been going to protect the neighborhood and communities around you. And that has provoked my thinking about, state police. Again, politics apart. We can discuss with the National Assembly leadership to really, look at critical path to that again.
It's a debate that has divided Nigeria for decades. Should states be allowed to run their own police forces? In February last year, President Tinubu first floated the idea after an emergency meeting with governors. At the time, the National Economic Council pushed the discussion forward, but more than a year later, it's still a mirage. Now, with insecurity persisting and communities in the northeast depending on vigilantes and civilian militias, the president is revisiting the proposal. Concerns remain whether state police can be abused by governors, how it will be funded, and if it can stay apolitical. Governors from the region welcomed Tinubu's remarks, but came with their own demands.
Continued military operations in the shores of the Lake Chad, Dajin Madama, Mandara Hills, Sambisa Game Reserve, Mansur, Yalua, Futuk, Kolmani areas, Karin Lamido Forest, amongst others. Provision of funding to MMJTF for military operations in the tumbos of the Lake Chad, completion of ongoing road projects, and building of critical roads connecting the state.
The governors also want oil exploration resumed in frontier basins. The president praised what he called clear progress in the region, families returning to their homes, new housing schemes, and rising school enrollment. But beyond security and development, Bola Tinubu also addressed the rising political temperature. He insists politics will not detract him from delivering on his agenda.
We will be able to, reverse the decay of several years. In the political environment, we have been drawn into early, political activities from our rival political parties. Whichever way it is, I'm not distracted. I am solidly focused, laser focused on what is ahead.
In recent times, the question is no longer whether Nigeria needs state police. The president and governors now appear to agree on that. The real test is how quickly the National Assembly can move and whether politics will once again stall reforms that many say are long overdue. Adesuwa Omorwan, Arise News.
Well, for more on the meeting of the Northeast governors with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also taking a look at the meeting of the CPC with the President just day before yesterday, we are being joined by a man who wears several caps, mainly as a prominent Northeast leader coming from Yobe, and also a chieftain of the CPC BLOC and the former APC National Secretary. We are being joined live in the studio by architect Waziri Bulama. who is just here to answer many of these questions. It seems that the 2027 weather is up in a fevered pitch, and it's difficult to discern the difference between political horse trading and actual governance now. You were with the CPC bloc when they visited Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and you gave an endorsement. So is it actually, because also looking at the Northeast leaders also, it seems like a regional endorsement rather than a commitment to governance now, because it's 2 years after and they are just demanding for 17 Link Road in the northern region, and also developing the frontline oil wells and all that. So could you clarify, and also just you went on an endorsement mission to give a tacit endorsement to President Tinubu's 2027 ambition. So what is really happening? What's behind the scene that we need to know? What did, apart from what the camera covered, what happened behind closed doors?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to converse with you and Nigerians on these two major issues. On both issues, both our visit to the president by the defunct CPC establishment, who are now in the APC, as well as the visit of the Northeast governors on the president. The fundamental issues actually are not directly related to 2027, even though, observers confuse the issues. For instance, comment on the president's leadership, his performance, and so on, and endorsements. They see it as though, it's a statement on 2027. And indeed, the president himself, while addressing the Northeast governors in his response to their remarks, said there's a great deal of undue politicking and partisanship around issues when we are supposed to focus on governance and service delivery to Nigerians. Now, coming to our visit to the president by the defunct CPC bloc, goal in visiting the president are three. Number one, to condole, the president as the chief mourner, over the transition of late President Muhammadu Buhari. He was in the forefront, leading, all of us, in managing that process, that passage, of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. And we felt we should come and condole with him, and also thank him for leading, the whole country in mourning. What he did was actually unprecedented, was so elaborate. There were actually other, presidents who died in office, or who really never, saw or enjoyed that kind of, full-fledged national mourning and funeral with full military honors that the president, led for President Muhammadu Buhari. The second issue we visited him was, for the entire CPC bloc made up of technocrats, professionals, foot soldiers, and leaders who worked for the CPC, as well as the transition and fusion of the CPC with other parties to found the APC, which was a historic, development in forging, national political growth and stability in the country. We came to reaffirm our commitment to those founding values that led to the formation of the APC, which was largely, centered around providing Nigeria with a leadership of integrity, transparency, and progress. And the third thing was to reaffirm our collective resolve to support and remain loyal to the APC and its founding values and ideas, as well as to the implementation of the renewed hope agenda, which the president is implementing, and all the reforms that he is pursuing in the interest of modernization and progress and faster development and stability of the country. So that is for the APC
sure
part.
You can understand Let me interject at this point. I'm sure you can understand why this would be perceived as politicking on the road to 2027. But I like that you mentioned that this was an homage from the defunct CPC, of various levels. You were also representing the foot soldiers, as you said in your statement there. But many people are saying, well, what is the relevance of CPC now that we have laid the late President Buhari to rest? Because we've seen several CPC members have gone and joined the ADC. So many are saying that the unifying factor of the Buhari organization that became CPC no longer exists. So there are too many factions for it to be impactful. So this was just one faction that was going to curry favor from the president. What are your takes on some of those commentaries?
Well, in political parties, you see there are certain, political party is a dynamic human organization. And there are always tensions within, the parties that the parties manage to ensure that the parties remain united, cohesive, and focus on, the task of managing the country. Now, of course, there are a few people who, disagreed, who held different opinions and who, left the APC and joined the ADC. But when this idea cropped up initially, all the key leaders that moved into the APC from the defunct CPC, cutting across, former governors, former senators, former National Assembly members, and also the structure of the party from the National Executive Committee, the National Working Committee, as well as the state structures of the party that got dissolved in 2013 and fused into the APC. We rallied and came together that the CPC had ceased to exist in 2013 when we held a national convention in Eagle Square and dissolved the CPC. So it is really
just for clarity.
It was out of place.
Just for clarity. People want
place.
to know if it's actually a raise for the 12 million vote bank of Buhari's legacy.
Well, the 12, the point is that, you see, this APC inherited, the structure, the sympathy, the public support, the political base of the defunct CPC. The APC inherited it. So it is not these efforts that we are making at the moment. It is not a campaign for 2027, but to reaffirm the strong roots of the APC, which were inherited from the legacy parties, ACN, CPC, and the ANPP.
Okay.
How we got me?
Architect Bulama?
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely got you, but I think some people would wonder how that's possible when President Tinubu was only able to win Borno State in the whole Northeast region in the last 2023 elections. But importantly, I want us to move to something you highlighted earlier, service delivery. In the FEC-approved allocations, only 2.7% of those allocations went to the Northeast region. That means 97.3% of all the money going to Nigerians, 97.3% does not reach your region, does not reach your people. How do you convince them that you are loyal to them and service delivery, and also still loyal to the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu, who sees them worthy of only 2.7% so far of budget?
Leadership and governance is a dynamic, undertaking. And this, differences in terms of allocation in one budget, has been observed and made, and the government also had come out with different figures to show that no part of the country, including the Northeast, is suffering neglect in sharing, of resources. So I think the data is out there and the conversation would continue, but I believe that the government will not deliberately neglect or sideline any part or zone of the country. Indeed, just a few days ago, the president, went back to recall the oath of office he took and the oath of allegiance to defend the Constitution and to lead Nigeria with equality, and ensure that every part of the country, every citizen, matters and is accountable to God as well as Nigerians at the end of it. So I believe that there is a sincere effort by the government to assure Nigerians that no part of the country is left behind or neglected.
Thank you for that. Well, there have been ongoing discussions lately about the government's approach to tackling insecurity in various parts of the nation, more specifically the Northeast. How effective do you believe that the current security strategies have been under President Tinubu's administration? We just concluded the Northeast Governors Forum yesterday, and I would like to get your take on this situation with insecurity in the Northeast.
There has been considerable improvement in addressing the issue of insecurity all over the country, and most particularly in the Northeast. Coming from where we were in the years preceding the emergence of the APC government in 2015 and also up till today, quite a lot had been achieved, knowing fully well the constraints and the limitations our security agencies bear. The challenge is still some challenges remain. However, the security agencies as well as the governments are working round the clock to address the challenges of banditry, the challenges of attacks and abductions. I've lived in Maiduguri for about 3 months, and I came into Abuja just Monday. And I know all the security agencies, the military, the police, and most especially our soldiers who are on the front lines. They react, instantly to challenges of attacks. In fact, most of these bandits and fundamentalists, attack, the soldiers much more than even the citizens. And the response to the very best of what they have, the men as well as, support that they have, with their equipments, they do respond quite effectively. But this is an issue in progress. The security establishment, has also been crying and pleading for intensification of non-kinetic, measures by the governments, by the federal government, the state government, as well as the local government, so as to reduce, you see, the bandits and the lawlessness and all these conditions that fit into
Architect Bulama, I think at this point one is compelled to do a psychoanalysis of the president's countenance when he said that he was considering the adoption of state police, and he would be consulting the National Assembly. Can you really say this comes with some sense of urgency in the president's declaration for state police, and is this the way to go?
Well, the very fact that the president, addressed himself to this issue shows that the issue of insecurity is on the front burner, of the government's considerations for ensuring, absolute, peace and stability in the Northeast and in the other parts of the country. The issue of state police as a measure to reinforce the existing, security arrangement in the country is a matter up for debate for some time. And I believe there are experts and there are leaders both in the National Assembly and across, the country who would debate extensively this matter. And if it is found necessary, I think it would ultimately be adopted to ensure that the provision of state police comes in to substitute, you see, the non-official arrangements which most of these state governors have done, creating local militias, civilian JTFs, and so on. If these guys are formalized and mainstream into official, function,
I think Mumbai is trying to come in here.
Pardon? Oh, okay.
Okay. No. I did want you to land, but Architect Waziri Bulama, thank you so much for your time. In one sentence before you go, some governors have requested a state of emergency. Are you in favor of this state of emergency to the northeastern states that are currently facing insecurity? Just in one sentence, yes or no?
Well, no, because the situation actually has not got to a point where the present leadership should be substituted, no.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much, Architect Waziri Bulama. Thank you for your time today and for your insights. Well, that's all we have time for on Daybreak today. It's goodbye from me, Vambai Mutiniri Akweyong.
And from me, Adesu Agiwal Sage, please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next.
And I'm Benga Ashiro saying, do have a pleasant day.
And I'm Yolanda Roberts. I second you on that one, Benga. Take care. Goodbye.